So there's no reason not to pull the trigger because it's not going to get in your way. All right, let's talk about the kinds of airbag systems that are out there. There's basically three categories. The category we play in is the refillable compressed gas system. So we have a compressed gas cylinder inside the pack, and we release the air, it loses pressure, it pulls in more air from the outside and fills the bag. There's also closed non-refillable systems, and they generally either use air, nitrogen, argon, or some other gas, but you can't refill them, so you get exchanges, and that's mainly in Europe. Here, most people are using refillable. And then the third category is the electronic systems, which are powered by a battery or a supercapacitor electrically, and that powers a fan which pulls air in to fill the bag. And those are really awesome, great systems. They're still, fairly new, and they're pretty expensive. So that's the one drawback. They're kind of pricey, and they can be a little heavier. So we've chosen to go with the lighter, more affordable system for the masses. And but they're all great. They all have certain benefits. So anyways, ours actually, especially this year, because you can't travel so much overseas. I think the compressed gas systems, they're a little hard to travel with on airplanes. But we have a great refill system in Canada and even in other countries. So if they do open up the borders, you can get it done. All right, so let's talk about how to properly use an airbag. The key is actually the inspection and setup process. The crux is to get into the bag the day before you even go out. And you want to you actually don't have to open up the whole airbag. There's the shovel and probe compartment. There's a zipper in here. You just want to open that up and just make sure that your needle is in the green area. That means the cylinder is full. And another crux move is to look at this connection right here. This is where the trigger connects to the cylinder. And you can see there's a trigger, there's a nut in there that's green. If you can't see that green nut, then it's not set up properly.
You kind of see it very faintly there, but inside that, you have to be able to see that green nut. So you kind of look for that tinge of green, and that's what you're looking for as you set up your airbag.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm good to go, and my air hose is also set up. And I know that because it's right here, and there's this orange tag there that kind of marks that it's hooked up. Okay, a couple other important things to remember is the leg strap. Some people call it a crotch strap. Some people call it a thong, but it's right here. And it goes in between your legs. There's a loop on here that goes around the waist belt. Okay. This one it's straight from the factory, so there we go. So that goes between your legs like this. And what that's going to do is, if you get caught in a slide and you deploy the bag's not going to get pulled up and off of your body. Of course, you're going to have your sternum strap on, but imagine if the airbag pulled up on you so hard it choked you. This has happened before. I actually like to keep my sternum strap way down low. But if you have that leg strap on, that shouldn't happen. That's key. That's really important to remember. The other thing to remember is to practice. You should, at least once a year, just reach over, pull the thing. That way you know how hard you have to pull it. And a good way to do it is to bring it down to your local refiller. So right here in Boulder, for instance, we have a bunch of scuba shops. People will go down to Webster's dive shop and pull the trigger, and the guy will refill it on the spot for them, and then they bring it home. So make sure you practice. There was a study done a few years ago up in Canada, and they determined that an airbag is going to basically double your chances of survival if you're caught in an avalanche and in a potential burial situation. You've got a much better chance of surviving and not getting buried. But they did say also that 20% of the time people either don't set up their airbags properly or they don't pull the trigger. So there's no reason not to pull the trigger. It's not going to cost you much to get a refill. You're probably going to want to go home right afterwards. And like I showed before, there's no compromises in trying to escape the avalanche when you have the airbag behind you there. Okay, now, how do we choose the right airbag? So first you need to decide whether you want a refillable system or a closed system. Here in the States, mainly it's refillable. But also the electronic system, you're going to need to decide if you want those. So if you have plenty of money, then those are great ones. And if you travel a lot on airplanes, those are good. And now's a good time to ask questions about any of those systems.
So folks, if you have any questions, this guy, he's the man, the myth, the legend. He'd be a great resource for you. So just as we kind of move through this whole process, I'd love to hear any questions that you have. Ed is here drinking a beer. When's the next time you're going to be able to talk about the guy who invented the beacon, about all these cool products we have got going on? So if you have any questions, hit us up in the chat. We'll answer them for you. Sound good?
Good. Okay. So, so let me know if you have any questions. And now I want to talk about how to choose which float pack. So that's all depends on whether you're a skier or a snowmobiler. Really, those are the two big categories that we make airbags for. And then what kind of skiing, snowboarding, or snowmobiling do you do? So let's talk about our Snowmobile packs first. We have 3 basic models. Our Float Turbo 15. And the way that our snowmobile packs are different than our ski packs is that we have external shovel carry. That's one item. Snowmobilers often like to carry their shovels on the exterior of their pack because digging out sleds is often a part of the sport, and they like to have the shovel accessible, but it needs to be very secure. If you're going to put it on the outside, it needs to be very secure. You can also put it on the inside. We have dedicated shovel pocket on all of our packs, interior. But here you can set it up any way you want, with the blade separate from the shaft, the shaft on the blade, and that comes up here. A lot of people are now preferring to put it on the side so it won't snag on trees when you're out riding in trees. So that's new this year. You can actually mount the shaft at the side, but it's easy to deploy. Another thing about our turbo packs is we have the BC Link base unit access right here on the exterior of the pack. So you can just open the zipper and there's your BC Link. So if you want to reprogram the preset channels, you can do that without taking it out of the pack, and you can recharge it overnight without taking it out of the pack. The BC Links are super popular nowadays, especially with the snowmobilers. So this is the Float 15 Turbo, which is pretty stripped down, lightweight, low profile pack. You'd use this one if you also have a tunnel bag on your pack. So, you probably have your emergency, overnight stuff in the tunnel bag, and then everything you need for avalanches here. You never want to get separated from your shovel, your probe, or even your first aid kit. That should always be on your body. But you should have a second shovel on your sled for digging out your sled. So you don't have to take off your airbag. Actually, that's what we suggest.
So Edge, I got a question coming in here. I've got our guy Josh Andrews. We want you to speak a little bit about how that zipper function works on the physical airbag compartment.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Well, this one's been deployed, so we can really see it well.
So Josh, we're answering your question here. Hope you're still out there in the ether.
So that's what it looks like after it's deployed. However, basically the zipper has a blowout section here where the teeth aren't connected, but it's Velcroed. It's bridged over by the Velcro, and the air comes shooting out there. It opens up the whole thing, and then the airbag comes out. Now the trick is, if you ever pull it apart just a little bit, it's hard to zip it back up. So you just want to pull the whole thing open, bring the zipper back around to the very beginning, and then zip the whole thing. Pretty quick. Okay, good question.
All right, moving on here.
Finish off the snowmobile stuff. This is the Float 25 Turbo. It's a bigger version of the 15. It's a little more luxurious. The 25 means that it holds 25 liters of gear. Now, keep in mind that when it comes to airbags, the volumes, let's say 15, 25, 32, that's the gross volume. So the airbag and engine actually take up a little bit of volume, maybe depending on the system, but maybe 4 liters. So the net volume of this is actually going to be more like 21 liters of real storage. Now, why do the companies do it that way? Well, that's because most companies make their system so you can remove the airbag and engine and just use it as a backpack. I do that a lot in the spring. I really love the pack. And I'll just take the engine and airbag and save a little weight and volume and just go skiing in the spring or snowmobiling when I know I can avoid avalanches that time of year if I just get up early. Okay, and then this is our kind of our Cadillac of all of our products is our Float Mountain Pro vest. This is a protective vest airbag system with foam plastic built into the chest and side of the pack, and it's got a really nice ventilated design. So the snowmobiling, as you know, can actually get really hot. There's a lot of people are very active on their sleds, and you can overheat easily, but this one it's got a lot of mesh. You'll see perforations in the armor and mesh lining. It's got a dedicated transceiver pocket here with a solid D-ring to tie into.
You should have a beacon in the other pocket.
Oh yeah.
We can show you that dedicated beacon pocket.
Yeah.
The dedicated D-ring.
So there's the Tracker S, which we'll talk about next week. And your trigger is here or here. That's right. On the snowmobile products, we put them over on this side so that you can pull the trigger with your left hand and keep your right hand on the throttle. But you can put hydration on this side or your BC Link radio. New this year, we have a small size. So now we have 3 sizes of the Float Mountain Pro vest. And the small size has been in big demand. So especially for the ladies, keep that in mind. It's new small size. Okay. Let's breeze through the ski packs real quick. We have 4 sizes: Float 12, Float 22, Float 32, Float 42.
So Edge, I got a question. When are we going to make a pack bigger than 32 liters?
We make a pack bigger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for our friends in the chat here, Mike Bartholomew and Michael Murphy, this is our Float 42. Do you want to go over some features for these 2 guys?
I know both those guys.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, how you doing? Yeah, Float 40. All right, we'll start at the top and then we'll work down. Yeah, Float 42 is awesome. It's got a couple of features that I love. Probably the biggest one is this back panel access here. Notice how I can get right into the bottom of the pack with a zipper. So, you know, the ski patrollers love these because they can put their hand charges down here and just put the pack down on the ground, grab them, and start hucking bombs. So that's the back panel access. Notice that all of our float packs have adjustable back panels. So you can take that waist belt and move it up and down depending on how long your back is. One nice thing about that Float 12 that we'll talk about is definitely smaller. It starts out smaller. So that's popular with the smaller folks, you know, like 5'6" and smaller. A lot of females like to use the Float 12. So back to the Float 42, it's got the dual shoulder straps just like all of our packs. So you can put hydration or radio in one side, trigger on the other. And you can swap sides if you want. If you want to put your trigger over here, that's fine. Another nice feature of the 42 is this Goggle Pocket up here. It's kind of up above the volume of the pack, so it's not going to compress down and get difficult to access your goggles. It's fleece lined. Nice luxury item. And then dual waist belts, pockets here, loops for glacier gear, for carrying hardware, climbing hardware. We have it's our airbag compartment and just a gigantic main compartment. You could use this thing for overnights if you wanted. Some mesh pockets inside. There's our BC Link base unit carrying strap and our hydration bladder hanger. Float 42, awesome pack. Let's talk about our 32. Pretty much already showed this one to you. We inflated it, but it has pretty much all the same features of the 42, but it's smaller volume. And it doesn't have the exterior shovel pocket or goggle pocket or the back panel access. But there it is, all set up with a BC Link radio 2.0. Might even have a hydration tube in here.
With the hydration tube on this side.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's that. I actually like to put my hydration up here and the radio down here, but either way. And the trigger on this side. Yeah, we got this in red and black. Then we have our Float 22. just more of a stripped down version. It's more for side country skiing or close in backcountry skiing where, you know, you're really only going out for a half a day. So maybe you're not bringing a rescue sled. Maybe you're not bringing a huge lunch. Maybe you're not bringing a bivy sack. You know, I bring all that stuff when I go out for a long day when I know I'm not going to be near a road. But if I'm just up at, you know, up here at Caribou or Berthoud Pass, I'm probably not bringing all that stuff. So that's the ideal pack for that kind of thing. Maybe Teton Pass. And then the Float 12 we saw, that's our stripped down airbag for basically out of bounds skiing, cat skiing, heli skiing, and snowmobiling if you have a tunnel bag to carry your overnight gear. Any questions?
I got a question here from Kelly Johnson. She wants to know if the vest contains a radio insert.
Oh, yeah. You mean the external base unit access? No. Not this year.
Not this
This
year.
is a brand new feature. See, the Float Mountain Pro vests aren't new this year. What's new this year with the Float Mountain Pro vest is the small size. It's just our brand new packs that have that, and that's our Float 15 and 25 Turbo. And our, Jack, grab me that Stash camo. That thing's cool. Our Stash 25 Throttle, just our backpack without an airbag. This thing is awesome. See that? Stash 25 Throttle night camo. And that has the BC Link base unit access. And that side carry for the shovel shaft. Yeah. Oh, it's got the goggle pocket up top, fleece lined. Yeah, this thing, I can't wait to use this. Good question. Wow, that's some fine tuning. I like that.
Awesome. Any more questions from the audience? We're going to be signing off here soon. So this is your opportunity to ask Ed some more questions. If you have any questions about the packs, any product, you just want to tell Ed a joke, it's in the chat. Hit him up.
One thing I would like to mention is that an airbag is not a substitute for good judgment or good training. You know, having an airbag shouldn't affect the way you ride. It shouldn't affect your terrain choices. It's there because snow safety is an inexact science. You know, you should be riding according to the forecast, you know, riding in areas where you know the avalanche problems aren't going to be prevalent. You know, people make mistakes. Forecasts aren't always perfect. Nature is unforgiving, and you need a margin of error. I mean, even the smartest, most well-educated snow scientists sometimes get caught in avalanches. Even people who manufacture avalanche equipment get caught in avalanches. So that's when it's nice to have an airbag, because nobody's perfect. So, all right, we got any other questions? Where to take an avalanche course? That'd be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Go to our website, backcountryaccess.com, and go to the Learn section, and you'll see we have a little area called Avalanche Courses, and you can go look up. There's some resources there. You just click on the links. Right here in Colorado, we have Colorado Mountain School, which is one of the largest providers in the country. We love working with those guys. And they are booking up fast. There's a run on avalanche courses going on right now. It's almost a gold rush, Jack.
All right, guys. Last chance for questions before we sign off here. Let us know in the comments whether you like this, whether we should do more of these, what you'd like to see from us, if you'd like to learn anything moving forward. this is your opportunity. We're here for you. We're Backcountry Access, and we're excited for winter.
Yes. There is a link on our Facebook page to our website, of course. So you can either go there for educational resources or go shopping. Yeah, we got float packs in stock. Get them now because there's going to be a run on them. All right, are we good?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for signing in. That was really fun. We'll see you next week. We're going to be talking about Tracker S.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry about that technical difficulty. Hopefully we'll get the things ironed out by next week.
We'll figure it out.
Sweet.
Good. We recovered.